Episode number 93. Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because #ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. Are you eager to get unstuck and figure out what you would actually like to do with your career next? Have you been going around in circles trying to figure it out but getting no further forward? If so, you're going to love today's sponsor, my signature group program, the Career Clarity Academy. Changing career direction can feel overwhelming and daunting, but it doesn't have to be. In my signature program, we give you clear, step-by-step, proven processes for getting completely clear on what it is that you want to do and understanding how you can leverage your existing experience and position yourself to attract and land a dream role. To find out more, head over to lightboxcoaching.com/academy. Hello, and welcome to day 5 of the Career Change Maker Sprint Challenge. It is wonderful to be back with you again today. If you haven't listened to day 1, 2, 3, or 4, I suggest you go back starting from episode 89 and have a listen, because we have been guiding you through the process that you really need to start thinking through if you are ready to become a career change maker. Now, today we are touching on a topic that is really important, and it is something that people often overlook and don't pay enough attention to, and that is your mindset. That is your mindset and the blocks that may be coming up for you, preventing you from actually moving forward towards the role that you've identified as something you would absolutely love to do. So when it comes to making a career change, oftentimes people will think that it is required for them to start at the bottom, that they need to either go back to school and get an MBA or get some kind of degree or graduate diploma, or that they need to start at the bottom and work their way up within the industry because they haven't got experience. People feel like if I'm going to make a career change, that means that I'm going to have to take a pay cut. And those assumptions, those thoughts that people have, those beliefs that people have, often hold them back from making the move that they want to make. And we talked about in the last episode how your thoughts and beliefs are so powerful and can really impact how you show up and whether or not you move forward. So in some circumstances, you may well have to be certified and you may well have to get a qualification for the role that you want to move into. But in a lot of cases, it's not required. And the reason it's not required is because you have a lot to offer already. So if you're listening to this, I'm pretty certain that you have been working in your career for some time, that you are amazing at what you do, that you are somebody who is ambitious and driven. And so I know that you have skills. I know that you have experience. I know that you have expertise that you have built up over time. And that skill, that knowledge, that expertise is not wasted. So when we think about starting a new journey, a new career path, it's almost like we think we need to just throw everything away that we've done in the past and then start with a fresh slate. And that is absolutely not the case. It's all about you looking at what you already have to bring to the table and you packaging that and presenting that in a way that is compelling and attractive to the type of role that you want to move into. Because you are someone who has gained a whole wealth of knowledge and experience that could be of benefit in the new role that you ultimately end up in. But if you don't recognize the value of that, if you haven't taken the time to look at that, to really determine what is going to be most relevant as you move into your new role, then it's going to be difficult for them to know. It's going to be difficult for you to articulate it in an interview interview setting. It's going to be difficult for you to really share that in your document. So it won't come up, it won't show up, or it won't be clear within your CV or your resume or your LinkedIn profile. So the key here is for you to focus less on, okay, what do I need to do? What is the traditional route to this type of role? What is the traditional path? And then I need to go and start on that traditional path now. Instead of thinking that, it's about saying, okay, what is required for this role that I want to move into? And what do I have already in my toolkit? What have I already developed that is going to be most relevant for this role? And then how can I articulate that? How can I demonstrate that I would be a good fit? And when you do identify that there's some gaps in your knowledge, then yeah, you might have to fill those gaps, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have to go and do a 2, 3, 4-year degree. That might mean that you take a short course. That might mean that you do something that's going to fill that gap. You gain some experience, but it doesn't mean that you have to start at the bottom. It doesn't mean that you have to feel as though all that you have done so far is wasted, that the decisions that you've made in your career so far have been the wrong decisions. All that you've done in the past has got you to where you are right now. And it's about saying, okay, I'm here right now. This is what I've done in the past. And I also recognize that this is where I want to get to. So now what do I do? What do I do? How do I use what I've got? How do I use what I've experienced to move me forward? So when you start thinking in this way, it can really open up what you believe around the opportunities available to you. Because if you recognize that you don't have to start at the bottom, that you already have value to bring to the table when you are approaching a role, then that is going to help you to not procrastinate and recognize that, oh, this isn't something that needs to happen in 2-3 years time once I've gone back and got a degree in this particular area. This is something that I can action soon. This is something that I can act on now. Because let's face it, degrees are fantastic. Education is fantastic. But what really, really moves the needle is experience. How many times have you heard people complain about the catch-22 situation where an organization will say, we need people with experience, but then the candidate or person is saying, yeah, but I need to work somewhere to get experience. If everyone's asking me for experience, but I haven't yet worked anywhere, how am I going to get that experience? The reason why there's so much focus on experience is because doing is very different from learning. Actually showing up and executing on something is different from you reviewing the process manual on it or understanding the background around it. So experience is important, but recognize that experience is not always, okay, you have had specific experience of working in this particular role. Sometimes, a lot of the time, experience is about drilling down and saying, okay, so in the particular role that you've been in, what are some of the tasks that you have had to do, and how does that align with the types of tasks that you'd have to do going forward, and for you to really be able to highlight that. So I know that this isn't easy. I know that the thought of moving from doing what you've been doing for perhaps a long time to doing something else is daunting. And I fully appreciate that it is not an easy process. Now, we've covered a lot over the course of this week. So we started off looking at your why, your motivation for making a career change. Then we looked at what your vision is for your life and your work and that work-life integration piece. Then we moved on to talk about your strengths and what strengths you have and what you can bring and offer, and how you should really learn how to leverage those strengths. And then we talked about dreaming big and really identifying the type of role that you want to go for without limitations, without restrictions. And today we're saying you don't necessarily have to start at the bottom. So if you've identified that role and you know what you want to do, you don't have to start at the bottom. So your task for today is to identify some of the tasks that you've had to do in your most recent role that may well be transferable. Things that you've had to do that you recognize would be of benefit in another organization. So that's what your task is for today. And just get into the habit of doing that, of really like assessing what it is you've done in the past and thinking about how that you can leverage that as you move forward. So we have covered a lot this week. I fully appreciate that I threw a lot at you in this series, but I do think it's important to be thinking about all of the different pieces of the puzzle. But if you are someone who is saying, okay, I hadn't even thought about a lot of this stuff, and I know that I absolutely want a career move and I want to make a change in the next 3 to 6 months, but I'm not entirely sure how to put all these pieces together properly. I'm not entirely sure how I pin down the right role or how I articulate what I have to offer to a new role. I don't know how to interview correctly or efficiently. I don't know how to negotiate for the salary that I want. If you're just feeling like you don't know how all the pieces will fit together, then I invite you to head over to lightboxcoaching.com/academy and put your name on the wait list, because the Career Clarity Academy will be opening up again soon, and we support our clients in that program to go from feeling confused about what they want to do to getting crystal clear clarity, and then executing and then implementing proven strategies to actually land the type of role that they want to land. So go to lightboxcoaching.com/academy and you can learn more about it there. All right, so that brings us to the end of this week. It has been incredible. I have really appreciated all of you who have taken action, who have had the Career Change Made Simple Facebook group buzzing with comments and insights this week. It has been awesome. So I want you to go, take action, keep moving forward towards your career goals. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Career Changemaker podcast. If you have enjoyed what you've heard today, then head over to iTunes or wherever it is that you listen to podcasts and leave us a rating and review. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can hear when the next episode goes live. And if you like hanging out on Instagram, then I would love for you to tag me and let me know what you really thought about the episode over there at Career Changemaker. Until next time, keep working towards your career goals, and we will speak very, very soon.